The tide comes in and leaves a fingerprint, a dusting of cobalt, a line of pale orange, dots that glitter like confetti but carry no celebration. My hands move through the rack, fingertips brushing old kelp, a drifted shoe, and then a speck of blue, so small it could hide beneath a thumbnail. Do you feel that? The shore is speaking in fragments. Listen closely. What does the shore refuse to forget? Find somewhere dark and quiet. Put your headphones on. Tonight's story is called Microplastic Mosaic. I'm Sam Nang, and this is Nature's Dread. The beach we'll walk today is not dramatic at first glance. Wind-bleached sand, a spit used by families and fishers, gulls complaining. But underneath that ordinary debris, something repeats. The volunteer is Clara, late 20s, a school teacher who signed up for weekend beach surveys because she likes order and the ocean, in that quiet, almost stubborn way people do. She comes at dawn, boots sucking in sand, thermos steaming. The spit is a work site of tides, morning low, afternoon surge, wind pushing a cross-shore bloom of seafoam. Clara notices color before she notices meaning, a band of microscopic blue flakes along last week's rack line, a sliver of orange thread caught in a shell bed. She starts to photograph, not pick. This is where the method matters. The first strange event is almost polite. One morning, after a storm, Clara follows a tide line and finds the same small blue fragments in the same arrangement as before, as if someone had spilled a painter's box and the shore had arranged the pieces by hand. She could have pocketed them, shown a friend, joked about plastic glitter. Instead, she photographs and logs time, weather, and the precise sweep of the tide. That choice, photographing rather than disturbing, keeps a chain of trust with the place. The shore will forgive many things, but not careless grief. Over the season, pattern emerges, not chaotic scatter, mosaic. Bands of blue polyethylene, repeating orange PET threads, powdery flecks of paint that sit in tiny polygons along sheltered coves. The same assemblages reappear after similar tides and wind directions, sometimes miles apart. Clara begins to map them. She laughs at herself. "I sound like a detective," she says. But there's real work beneath the joke. Are these mosaics signatures of sources, or only the ocean's way of sorting detritus into pretty lies? This is the investigation where method meets modesty. I spoke with a polymer chemist who runs FTIR spectra to identify plastics. She said, a color is a hint. A polymer spectrum is stronger. But contamination is the rule, not the exception. Fibers travel like gossip. An oceanographer explained nearshore sorting. Currents, wind, and coastline geometry concentrate fragments into bands that can look like fingerprints, but are really stamps pressed by physics. A maritime-safety coordinator warned, patterns can point toward a launch vector, but they do not prove a case. Every expert I spoke with circled back to one word: humility. Here's where it gets interesting. Science can guide questions, not hand over certainty. Then the turning point. Lab photos of the orange thread, its polymer signature matching a specific pet family, arrive in Clara's inbox. A family from a nearby harbor recognizes the faded orange paint in one photo, paint that matches a patch on the transom of a skiff that went missing months earlier. The family messages are careful and raw. Could this be his boat? We need to know. Clara is suddenly holding other people's hope. This is no longer a tidy scientific curiosity. This is when the Shoreline's memory touches human loss. The choice she makes next will ripple. Pre-dawn, Clara joins professionals for a field test. They walk the spit in headlamps, moving slow. Protocol is strict. No casual picking, no sweeping hands through fragile habitats. Photographs from angles, scales and shots. Notes that record the air, tide, recent weather. A drift model, run by an oceanographer, outputs a probable launch sector. A boat log from a local skipper matches the timing. The tension tightens. a model that triangulates with a family's memory, and a patch of paint in the lab that aligns with the skiff's records. Hope and procedure collide. But remember, a model is probability, not verdict. The professionals emphasize chain of custody, and the maritime coordinator talks about when a search is justified versus when it might generate false hope.
After the field test comes fallout. Agencies convene. The lab issues caveats about contamination, how a single fragment can hitch a ride on boots, how a paint flake can be older than the skiff itself. Community meetings hum with a mix of gratitude and frustration. Some call for public alerts. Others plead for restraint to avoid spooking wildlife or endangering forensic integrity. Clara sits between them, feeling relief that she followed the right steps and grief that science cannot always promise closure. The truth emerges slowly, and often with more questions than answers.
The final image is small and terrible in its quiet. At low tide, a mapped mosaic of fragments looks from a distance like a faded flag. Blue and orange pixels stitched into a pattern the shore has kept. It reads like memory and like evidence, both fragile. Are you still with me? The map could be a ledger, a scatter of coincidence, or a breadcrumb trail. The shore remembers in ways we do not fully understand, and sometimes that remembering is all we have.
If you're still here, if the story stayed with you, remember a few things I can't say enough. Do not pick or sieve microplastics on protected shorelines. Photograph from a safe distance. Note time and tide, and report through proper channels. Coast Guard, Harbor Authority, or vetted conservation groups. We'll put trusted contacts in the episode notes. Treat polymer matches and drift models as leads that require professional follow-through. And care for the people involved. This can be raw, painful work. If you help, help with humility.
If this stayed with you, subscribe so you never miss an episode. Share the story with someone who listens in the dark. And if you volunteer on a beach, bring patience, curiosity, and restraint. We'll link resources and contact points where you can report observations responsibly. I'm Sam Nang. The shore keeps its records in timey things. Until next time, check the corners.